Alright, hello everyone, welcome to another stream. Today we have race number 2 in season 2 of the Tom Hanks racing series. As you're well aware if you're watching this, we are doing GT style race cars this season, and last race was on the Lakeside Park main circuit. Hello Teacup, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing alright. And this week, we will be doing a race on the Toban Raceway. Runoffs config. Rolling start and 3 laps. That's the setup that we've got here. Before we start, actually, and this is pretty exciting news from my end. This week I received my portable monitor that I ordered. The original purpose that I had in mind with this, and this is going to be its main use case, is because I'm sort of the IT guy in the neighborhood. I can just it's a 15.6 inch, pretty slim and light display that I can carry around easily and connect it via USB-C, so I can connect it to a laptop, and then it doesn't need supplemental power. I can also use it for for connecting my Switch, because it's also got a micro HDMI input. And what I'm using it for right now is as a third display on my desktop, and on that third display I'm effectively just having the spreadsheet, so I can have the stream on my big ultra wide screen. I can have the game on my 16:9 screen, and then I have the spreadsheet on the portable monitor that's kind of sitting that's smaller and sitting underneath both of the main monitors. So that's a pretty nice setup for streaming now, gotta admit. I'm kind of loving it already. As for the track here, hold on, this is way too loud. Let me turn this down a bit. Audio. Let's just turn the master volume down a little bit. As for the track, I have driven on here before, but this is not a track that I would say I'm very familiar with or very comfortable on. Getting the braking point right for this long sort of double apex right-hander has been a challenge for me. I can't get it right consistently. And for this corner, because you sort of get tricked into thinking, there's a straight coming up, and then like, oh no, there's actually this configuration of the track goes right there. Yeah, sure, grab a coffee, grab some popcorn, whatever it is that makes the stream experience more cozy for you. Or a cup of tea, if you will. Is this new that it now shows the split times on every lap on the top? I don't think I've seen that before. too late on the brakes there. That was too early for a braking zone here. I was about right for the brake impression point there. And by the way, guys and gals, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you could click that like button, it would really help out a lot. I thought I had one more lap there, because I'm really not warmed up yet. But yeah, just to help with the YouTube algorithm, please click the like button. It helps a lot, because if you guys like the video, then YouTube is going to recommend it to more people, and that's what. And if we can do that consistently, then that's how you can help me out, you know, and grow as a creator. Oof, that. After that braking point there, I can understand if you don't want to like the video, but please do so anyway. Yeah, not a good idea to use the curbs in a car like this. No damage to the car, so we can do one more lap here. Yeah, overall the total time for the 3 laps combined was obviously slower than before because we spun on the second lap. But that third lap here was actually fairly clean, I'd say. I'll give it another go before we get into the actual competitors, just to make sure I get the consistency down. Don't wanna do that kind of drift consistently. Welcome back, Teacup. Bad braking point there. And late again there. Still carried a lot of speed apparently. Should have lifted it a little bit more. That's more like it for the braking there. On my second practice run, where I actually had the total time of the 3:12, that one right there, I spun in the second lap, but then my third lap was pretty darn clean with a 1:00.9, so that was my best so far. Yeah, the suspension setup here is going to make a world of a difference, both for the bumpiness and also for the like you see this you see how the asphalt changes here. There's a surface change right there from before the corner to during the corner, and you have a couple of such instances on this track that can make it actually pretty tricky. And of course try to hit the apex, but don't actually touch the curbs in these kinds of cars, because Otherwise you'll spin. See here the surface change again. And of course this car is a little bit leery sometimes on the braking, so that doesn't help either. This doesn't feel like the right kind of track for this type of car. But, you know, we don't have very many real-world tracks in BeamNG that also have time trials associated with them. Like Laguna Seca, for example, exists, but there's no time trial for it. And some of my favorite tracks, like Silverstone, don't exist in Beam as far as I can, at least from everything that I've, in this case, not found. Now that the front left tire is deflated. Yeah, I think I don't want to hold anyone up too much longer. Let's go in the reverse order of the finishing, in the reverse finishing order from last time, which means last place from the previous track is gonna go first, and that's the Mara Paragon 4.6 GT3. Now this had quite a few issues associated with it. Most notably the lack of downforce, and as a result it was pretty darn quick down the straights, but had worse than average braking performance, and obviously the cornering speeds weren't good enough either to keep up with the better cars. All right, so I got a message pop up saying YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming experience. Is the stream all right for you guys? I'm checking the responses here, and I'm also checking the video playback all at the same time, so this right now is not full focus on driving, but from what I can see it looks smooth now. It stutters occasionally. this car. Can't put power down for the life of it. Let's get straight, okay. So this lap is not gonna be fast. It started to slide in 4th gear at like 150 kilometers an hour exiting a corner. I'm sorry, but if you can't get grip in 4th gear, then the car is just not gonna be any good. Really trying here to drive this thing cleanly and quickly to the best of my ability. Let's try again next lap. No damage to the car this time. Your car is probably gonna be just fine around here. Late on the braking point there, but we made it through. And apart from that, I'd say it was a fairly clean lap. At least as clean as it's gonna go with this. too late there. To be honest, I don't really care. That last lap is, I think, representative of just about the maximum I'm gonna get out of this. So if we don't manage to beat it, if we don't manage to beat that lap time here, at least the last lap was clean enough to where I can say I feel good about that time with this car. Actually faster, okay. Hello, Grid Ghost. How are you doing? Sorry, because your the icon for your name is the same color as Teacup. So when I glanced over and read the message, I thought it was Teacup. So it was actually it was actually Grid Ghost saying, "I don't have this track installed, so I hope my car is still on track." Yeah, it goes for your car as well. I think your car is gonna be more than fine around here. 105.351. Yeah. And actually, Teacup, if you could write it like this with a 1.05 at the front, that would be cool in a spreadsheet. The next one is going to be the Durandal Cassowary by Armor Motors. So this also had issues with a lack of downforce and lack of grip on the Lakeside Park. So we will see how it fares here. I'll try to keep an eye on the CPU and GPU loads whenever YouTube pops up that message that it's not receiving enough data, just to see if anything, is stressed too much. But it looks like both the GPU and CPU are doing just fine. Yeah, this just doesn't have the downforce that other cars have. It's like basic suspension setup is decent, and it puts the power down way better than the Amaro did. Yeah, the message popped up again. Stream probably stuttering again a little bit. I think this is software related because the hardware is not fully loaded or even close to it. Quickly gonna disable this overlay. I wanted to have it there just for when the message pops up to check. I hate these sorts of software type issues where you never know what's causing it, because I updated the graphics driver recently, and one time in the past we already had a driver version that was causing hiccups on stream, so maybe it's that. Maybe it's the game, maybe it's OBS. No, it's not the game is running smoothly. Maybe it's OBS, maybe it's YouTube. You can never be certain, you know, with these kinds of things. I think that's about as clean as I'm gonna get with this car. 104.505. I think it is YouTube because OBS isn't, you know, isn't yelling at me. Okay. Next is the Phoenix, was it GT3 twin turbo? The straight 6 twin turbo. Yeah, I think it's YouTube doing wonky things. The Boosty Boy indeed, 2.85 bars on a 1.55 liter engine. I wonder how long that would last in real life. I know automation is saying, you know, in terms of reliability, this meets the requirements in automation here for this challenge, but I'm not sure it would play out so well in real life. This is also by far the quietest car in the field. Okay, can take 4 through there. When the engine hits its stride though, we're really moving. You know, earlier today I was playing some Forza Horizon 5 and I was playing some rivals with a radical RXC turbo that I tuned to the top of S2 class, and somehow that, you know, obviously it's faster than these cars because it makes like 670 horsepower and weighs 800 something kg, but in a way it feels sort of like the better cars in this competition, because it's got so much downforce that, you know, once you get to the sort of speed where the downforce really kicks in, you can go through just about anything almost flat out, and you don't need to brake very much. So on certain tracks, that radical can beat just about anything, even though it's not the fastest in a straight line. Alright, improved yet again. I don't know how to pin down exactly what this car is lacking in comparison to the better cars here. 105.084. I think, I mean, the engine is great when it does hit boost, but you know, it takes a little bit of time to build up, and so maybe that's costing it, because that adds up over the whole lap. Handling wise, like the balance of the downforce and the suspension is fine. I just think there's maybe just not enough downforce. Next in line is the FNS Macro GT500. Yeah, pretty much sums it up. Now this, it has pretty much a very similar concept to the engine. Also a 1.6 liter, but this is an inline 4 and heavily turbocharged, but this is much louder. Destroyed the tire. Excuse me? Off we go. I can't be that aggressive over the curbs. Not in these cars. In more sort of production cars that are a little bit higher off the ground, I can do it, but not in these extremely low slung race cars. on the brakes there. Sorry for being fairly quiet here, but trying to focus. Yeah, that last lap was not very good. It likes the tripod on the turn in. I guess that's why the front end initially sticks. Yeah, like I think what this needs is maybe a little bit more front end grip. So and just maybe soften the suspension ever so slightly, and on the front a little bit more than on the rear, and then I think maybe a touch more front downforce as well, and then it'll be and then this could actually be a very good car. No, not retry. What are we doing here? Then we have what's up next? The HFF Black Widow. So between the FNS and the HFF last round there was a pretty considerable gap. So now we're getting pretty much into the contenders for the podium, because this and the next car, the Aeon, were not too far off from the third place finisher last time. So, and this is a very different track compared to the Lakeside Park Raceway. So the different strengths and weaknesses of the different cars might shuffle the results compared to last time. I think we already saw some of that. Now where the FNS that we just saw also had a very small and heavily boosted engine, it didn't really seem that like it had very good gearing, so it never seemed like it needed that much time to spool up. This just has mountains of torque. In fact, perhaps even too much for its own good. I think that's the conclusion we came to last time. This might have fared better with a more conventionally tuned engine, with a more linear torque curve and more progressive power, rather than lumping all 500 or so horses that it makes at like 3600 RPM or something stupid like that. Handling wise, this is beautiful when it can put the power down, but and most of the time it can, but sometimes you're struggling for grip. And it doesn't matter if you short shift either, because you're still gonna have its full power all the way down at like stupid low RPMs. Okay, I still had to keep it together and stay focused, and it did still try to get away from me on a couple of occasions, but we managed a pretty solid time, I'd say 101.673. That's decidedly in the lead for now. I think about a second and a half ahead of the FNS. But as I said, this and the Aeon were like a couple of tenths apart, a couple of hundreds, excuse me, apart last time. So we're really getting into the podium contenders here. And allow me to take a sip of water as we wait here. All right, so thought I could take that corner a little bit faster than I actually can, so that's why I went wide there. But this, just the experience of driving this is just awesome, because first of all, who doesn't love the soundtrack of a roaring, naturally aspirated V8? And then just look at the attention to detail with all of the design elements on this. Really creates the experience of you are actually driving a proper racing car here. Massive rear wing, massive diffuser, high revving V8. What was that breaking point there? I'm ashamed of myself. Technically didn't need to restart actually, but if only race cars in the real world still sounded like this. But you know, you can't have big naturally aspirated and V8s anymore. I guess NASCAR still has them, but this car is perfect in the sense that most of the time it'll be perfectly balanced and forgiving. But if you do want it to dance, it can. If you ask it nicely, it will. But by itself, it doesn't have. It doesn't. It's not loose unless you ask it to be. That's, I guess, the best way of describing it. that was gonna be a faster lap. And now I have less speed going into this lap as well because of that mistake. I tried so hard and got so far. And in the end, I gotta go again. Alright, let's try to get a good last lap. Because these first two certainly haven't been as clean as I would have liked. Alright, I think we're good now. I feel good about this lap. This last one was about as good as I'm gonna get with it, with this car. 102.012. Okay, so this is behind the HFF this time by about 3/10, so there is a bit more separation here. Next up, we have the third place finisher from last time, the Scarab THRS MRGT3 Mark 11. with a single turbo Boxer 6 engine. Yeah, it could be the stiffer suspension. Might also be why I lost it a few times. Because, yeah, stiff suspension is great and all, but if the surface, like, it can make the car a lot trickier to handle on if the surface isn't perfectly grippy. So if you don't have the sort of perfectly prepared sticky asphalt that you have on most real-life racetracks, then stiffer suspension can actually be a disadvantage. Braking on this car is really impressive, at least it feels very powerful. This feels like it's easily the fastest car yet. It's more responsive on just about anything. You know, throttle response, turning response, braking response, everything is just much sharper and much more immediate than anything we've had so far. One minute, 0.696, nice. Yeah, this is decidedly in the lead now. Well over a second, actually. Never mind, pretty much exactly 1 second ahead of the HFF, but more than a second ahead of the Aeon. But we have 2 more cars coming. And next up is the second place finisher from last time, the Placard Corsair by Teacup. Well, I found your car to be very drivable nonetheless last time, although, of course, the Lakeside Park Raceway had a different kind of surface than this track. But when I tested all cars in before the first race, I tested here on this track, and I don't really remember if, thinking your car was hard to handle. I think the downforce machine will work good here too. Yeah, I think Kenshiro will do well again here. Man, like every car here is different, so the turning on every car is, you gotta get used to it, you know. It's an adjustment every time, but yeah, there we go. Could have braked a lot later than that. We'll try to remember. Could have braked later there as well. And this is... Any concerns you may have had, Teacup, can be dispelled. This is very, very nice to drive here, actually. Barely didn't make it under 1 minute, but 1 minute, 0.106 for the placard. Now this was easy to drive fast. I gotta admit, like, give me another lap or two and I'll probably break the 1 minute mark in it. But yeah, as it stands, this is already the fastest car yet. So I guess if Kenshiro is to win this, he's probably gonna then we might see a sub 1 minute lap here. And this is crazy considering how, you know, the last time I drove on this track for, you know, any number of laps really was when I competed in the in Elenir's sort of the EABL2, I guess. The challenge where you had the sort of gacha cards, where you would randomly draw cars, and you would be able to choose which one you use on which of the 4 given tracks. When I did that challenge, I had a car that was very tail happy and was sideways pretty much everywhere. Had way too much power for what the chassis could handle, and I tried to drive it as clean as possible. And I did like a 120.8 or something like that as my best lap. Here we're doing potentially laps in under 2 minutes, or in under 1 minute. Sorry. So the overall pace of these cars is absolutely stunning. Okay, unlike Adderall's car, this one doesn't have nearly as much torque, so there I should go down into second gear. This bounces around quite a lot as well. Oh no, that was gonna be such a good lap. Yep, first and second on this car are pretty damn long. It's almost like motorbike gearing, right? Whereas like you have a fairly tall, or you know, on a motorbike it's more extreme than this, but you have a really long first gear to try and get the power down, and then all the remaining gears are stacked really close to each other. Also consider that this car is front-engined rear drive. This is not mid-engine, and it's got grip like this. Braking performance is also insane. I thought for sure I was going straight on that corner. I think it had like 900 kg on both axes. $960, if I remember correctly. Oh no! Look at the split time. I was 0.6 seconds ahead. Oh. Good braking point this time. Just in time. This is gonna be a fast lap. Whew. Wow. Okay. Had to focus there on that last one, but 1 minute 0.717. Jesus Christ. Although, to be fair, look at the overall time. Teacup's car was only 1.3 seconds behind. Total. Yeah, indeed. When the arrow is not in full effect, then you can see it struggle a little bit. Although I will also say in those tight corners, like the tight right-hander behind the like after the first checkpoint, it still put the power down pretty damn well. And also in the chicane in the last section, before the final right-hander down the main straight, in that chicane too, it puts down the power well. So even though those are lower speed corners, it puts, yeah, it can make the most of its power. So credit where credit is due. Congratulations to Kenshiro once again for taking the win. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to like the video before you leave, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye bye.